5 seconds remaining.
Welcome to day 3 of the International. This is the second round of upper bracket matches. We've got Alliance versus DK. It's a best of 3. I think Alliance walks into this feeling pretty good about their situation in life. They're 16-0 right now. They took LGD 2-0. And while LGD were knocked out by Liquid, and I think LGD of the top three Chinese teams, Tongfu, DK, and IG, LGD are probably the weakest. They're the most predictable, which is part of why Alliance picked them over facing Fnatic. DK, they're not that much different. They're
5 seconds remaining.
How shall I put this? They have a little bit more unpredictability. RTK provides a lot more action for them. He creates opportunities that LGD, they don't have a player that really does that for them right now. And IG, to some extent, kind of the same story. DK has the ability to outplay, but not versus Alliance. And I think the important thing for DK in this is that they don't get outdrafted, that they find a draft
10 seconds remaining
that they feel really comfortable with and
5
will not lose their
remaining.
lanes with. Because if they lose their lanes, Alliance will just completely choke them out in no time. So personally, I'm expecting a 2-0 here from Alliance. Perhaps just because that's what the record states, but of the three Chinese teams, I think either DK or Tongfu have the ability to at least take one game and present more of a challenge for Alliance. That said,
10 seconds remaining.
Alliance get the Batrider in the first
5
round,
seconds
which
remaining.
we haven't. Batrider's been far more banned than he's been picked thus far. But I think Alliance feel pretty good about that. DK are forced to throw out the Lone Druid ban as well as the Wisp. Alliance can get rid of the carry and support that are most problematic in 6.78, Visage and Lifestealer. And they get one of Bulldog's heroes in Nature's Prophet, so it's a draft that they're pretty comfortable with right from the beginning. DK has been playing a lot of
5
Weaver.
seconds remaining.
With mixed results, I think
Reserve time.
I've said this in DK's previous games, the more cores, the more greedy that DK gets, the better it seems to be for them, as it pushes them to stop relying on burning. And Weaver's a pretty good burning hero because you can get involved fairly early on, you can be aggressive. It's hard to kill him, very hard to gank him. That said, a Batrider is a very strong initiator versus Weaver. You can get right on top of him, you can get a Blink Dagger long before Weaver has time to farm up a Lincoln Sphere. So in terms of the Weaver in this game, Burning's going to have to do a lot of farming, and that means the DK will have to live without him for at least some of these fights. Whenever S4 or
Reserve time.
S4? Yeah, it'll be S4. Whenever S4 gets his Blink Dagger, things get really hard for Weaver in this game. However, they do also have the Darkseer. Darkseer has been getting a lot more first bans. It's interesting to watch Darkseer's trajectory over the course of these various patches. He's received nothing but nerfs since 6.74, and he still is a top pick and top ban. Disappeared for just about a day at around 6.77, but not for any particular reason. He's always good. The Surge is particularly nice versus Batrider and can help you in counter-initiating team fights.
Reserve time.
That said, I tend to think that Darkseer is a little stronger in the hands of Western teams because of their more aggressive style of play. But an ROTK Darkseer, could it be enough? Could it turn things around? Alliance will ban out the Treant Protector. They don't want to deal with a living armor. They don't want to have that available for Burning's Weaver to make it so hard to take him down.
Alliance's turn to pick.
Which, given that DK haven't necessarily, I mean, they've succeeded with the Treant Protector versus other Chinese teams. I don't know in general how successful it's been for them. It's kind of surprising to me that they would eliminate that simply because of how easy it is for them to for Alliance to remove the living armor charges. It does slow down pushes, however. Makes the split push from Nature's Prophet a lot less effective. So in terms of the late game and the mid game, not the late game, the mid game, getting the towers down, Trio Protector can really slow down the slow push from Nature's Prophet.
DK's turn to pick.
DK will pick up an Alchemist, and this is very likely an Alchemist mid. I believe that's what they did the last time with their Alchemist. Depending on what Alliance goes for their mid, you know, it could be an EGM Batrider. S4 could still have his mid available, which that's one of the strengths of Batriders. You can send him to almost any lane. Haven't actually seen him mid for quite a while, simply because most teams would rather have another high impact hero occupying the mid lane, and they can send Batrider to the off lane where he'll still get farm, or the jungle where he'll get probably even more farm than he would in mid. So it's probably going to be an EGM Batrider if I had to take a guess, since Alliance now has Ake's Chen, which is really good news for them. I feel like this is a draft that you don't want Alliance to have. They've got great push. They are not going to have too much trouble in the early game. They have good initiation. DK do have a decent amount of... I mean, they've got the Acid Spray, who really helps with taking down Chen creeps, and the Treants to some extent. But Alchemist is not very good at rotating between lanes. He's not very mobile. Will be forced to spend a lot of time on his TPs,
Alliance's turn
going
to
back
pick.
and forth trying to stop these pushes, while Alliance are not nearly as limited. Batrider, Blink, Nature's Prophet, Teleport. Chen obviously not that mobile, but that's okay. DK will, however, pick up the Jakiro. Been seeing Jakiro kind of... He didn't make many appearances in the prelims, but he's been kind of showing up more in the main event. Really good combo with Nagasarn, but in this game, it's going to be combo with the Darkseer. The Vacuum Ice Path is... You can never underestimate it and how effective it is. And it's pretty easy to pull off. It also has the added bonus of that's extra time for Alchemist to charge up his Unstable Concoction. It's actually probably more reliable than the Magnus Reversal Polarity with Unstable Concoction, which that was something that LGD tried over and over again. I think they ran the lineup with Magnus Alchemist, like 5 times. It's a nice idea, but the amount of time that you actually have to execute that is not very much. I mean, the concoction has to be charging up before... Ooh, anti-mage. Charging up before the reverse polarity. Whereas with the Darkseer Jakiro, you have a little bit more heads up. And the Ice Path will lock them down for just long enough to get at least a few seconds of the Unstable Concoction out.
10 seconds.
Charged up before you toss it. So there's a good potential for chain stun here from DK, and that is a little bit of trouble for this anti-mage pick from Alliance. I haven't actually seen Alliance pick anti-mage this tournament in the games that I've watched. Maybe they picked it, I don't know. But it's important to have the chain stun to lock down the anti-mage. Otherwise, you're never going to kill him. It's also a pretty decent combo versus Batrider. Jakiro, in terms of supports, does decently versus Batrider. He's not as good as something like a Shadow Demon, but Ice Path has long range, and he can make it dangerous to initiate, especially if you lock down the Batrider and force the enemy team to meet Batrider halfway rather than having food delivered to them from long range. Then that's a good situation for Jakiro. It's easier to predict enemy movement. You can drop down the Dual Breath and the Macro Pyre and be pretty effective with him. Jakiro also pretty decent versus push. Nice AoE. The Liquid Fire really helps in dealing with overall with large groups of creeps, slowing down their attack speed, applying a little bit of damage. But it's mostly the Dual Breath and Macro Pyre really help with dealing with Treants and the Chen's neutrals. So I really like the Jakiro pick from DK. I think that's a great support and gives them everything they need. DK will probably pick up one more support here. Visage has been banned out, as
10
well as the Treant Protector,
remaining.
no Bane, Keeper of the Light, or Naga Siren.
5 seconds remaining.
I think they need burst damage, personally. Have not seen much of Lina or Lion in this tournament.
Reserve time.
Honestly, couldn't tell you why.
5 seconds remaining.
But I think versus what Alliance is running, or they'll get the Shadow Demon. Actually, the Shadow Demon works out pretty well.
Alliance's turn to pick.
Another way of dealing with the Bat Rider. A little bit of AoE to help with the push. Good versus Anti-Mage. I don't know why the Shadow Demon dropped from my mind, but really good versus Anti-Mage. Those illusions will help burn through his mana, and you can, in the late game, the illusions can really do a lot of work for you. So DK, I think they have a well-rounded draft. They have a strong early game. They have good anti-push. They've got stuns to deal with Nature's Prophet and Anti-Mage, and I think if they're able to get the Weaver any decent farm in early game, they could challenge the push from Alliance. However, there's just perhaps this is just my internal bias of Alliance speaking, but it feels like Alliance have a somewhat better hold on multiple stages of this game. If they can take the outer tier 1s, exert a little bit more map control, and make room for Loda to free farm, Anti-Mage is very good versus Weaver. Strongly outcarries him, as well as an Alchemist. And Alliance will not be solely dependent on
10 seconds
the Anti-Mage.
remaining.
They've got Bulldog's Prophet, so there's going to be split push on the map.
5 seconds remaining.
Which, with the Shadowblade, Alchemist, and Weaver, it's possible to deal with that, but we will have to see. I think Alliance, they're going to be looking to take some towers early
Prepare for battle.
with Ake, and if DK are not prepared to stop the pushes, then they will have a problem on their hands, because they really do need to get some decent farm. Is this a burning Alchemist? Also, is DK running an aggressive tri-lane? I assume they're not. Probably just looking to ward Alliance's jungle, which is why you see them out of the gate early. They want to defend their jungle and make sure that DK don't get everything warded up, which really can slow down Aki's start. And I think Alliance, they need their 10 to have a pretty strong early game here. The Windrunner pick is probably the most interesting to me out of what Alliance grabs. It's going to be support Windrunner on EGM, and I guess, I mean, there'll be some easier shackles with the disruption. That's one thing about disruption that makes it kind of nice for a Windrunner, is just that more shackle targets, and given the propensity for DK, there looks like they're going to want to group up. There should be some decent shackles this game, and he provides some decent anti-push. But it's unreliable lockdown, and we'll see how it plays out. One other thing I want to mention about the Shadow Demon pick that I really like with the Jakiro is that it's another setup for Ice Path. You pop the disruption down, followed up with the Ice Path, and it's a guaranteed stun. So I think the Shadow Demon in this game should really work out nicely. DK will try to stop the pull here from Emerald Bulldog, and they will be successful. So a real slow start for Emerald Bulldog. Up at top on his Nature's Prophet. Always is. It's very rare to see him have the start that he really wants. But that's okay. I think Alliance are accustomed to playing that at this point. Burning is going to be on the Alchemist. MMY will be on Jakiro. QQQ on Shadow Demon. And RTK will be on that Darkseer in the jungle to start things off for DK. For Alliance, we've got S4. He's on the Bat Rider this time. Haven't seen him on Bat Rider very often. He used to play it all the time, particularly back in DreamHack Winter. He'll be up against Super on that Weaver. A pretty decent mid matchup for DK. Should favor S4 just slightly, since especially because he'll be able to get rune control. At least quite possibly. We'll see how much attention Super pays to the runes. With the constant napalm stacks that are flying out, he may not need it at all. But it's going to be a pretty close lane regardless, and it'll depend a little bit on any early rotation from Ake. He hasn't got the ideal creep here. The Hellbear Smasher, not good for ganks. So we'll have Ake and Chen, EGM on Windrunner, and Loda on this Anti-Mage. Haven't seen Loda's Anti-Mage in a little while. Unchallenged bottom lane. Ooh, disruption onto Emerald Bulldog. There's the Ice Path. Looks like he's actually going to juke to the right. Tries to get out of the Ice Path, but will he get denied by the creeps? Yes, he will. And actually, that's a self-stun from Burning. Nearly takes himself out. Really nice play there from Bulldog. Realizes there's no way he can get out of this. Just runs straight into the neutrals, and he denies himself. Really important deny there, too. Does not want to give first blood to Burning.
Tower is under attack.
Nobody wants to. That said, it is still him going down, and he's not yet level 2.
Structures are fortified.
That level 2 for Nature's Prophet is very important so that he can rotate in between the jungle and the side lanes. That said, Alliance do have a Chen, so there's not as much room for him in the jungle. But Ake already spending some time down at bottom. They're working on this bottom tier 1, and it doesn't look like there's going to be any response here from DK. They're not concerned about it. So, first blood for towers will drop to Alliance at about 3 minutes in.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Super, he's got a DD. He's diving on S4. He actually gets the first blood. That DD. What a fortuitous rune for Weaver. Dives under the tower, and S4 just can't do anything about a double damage Weaver. Great rune. That's one thing I always have to account for with mid, is that some mid heroes are much better at taking advantage of certain types of runes than others, and Weaver, a double damage for him with the Geminate attack is brutal. That's 120, 136 damage twice, and I mean, you're only looking at 800 HP on this actually a pretty tanky Bat Rider, honestly, but actually there's a dive onto Emerald Bulldog up top. Burning is charging Concoction. He's chewing through all of these trees. He wants to find him and he can't. Nice block here from Emerald Bulldog, making it so that Burning could not get in there. Burning does need to be careful. If there's any rotation here from Alliance, then he could drop, but he's still sticking around. Emerald Bulldog does hit his 2, and there's a disruption onto S4, who is rotating. Has a regen rune. Haste rune would be ideal for him if he wanted to find a kill there, but does force DK to back off. I have to say, that's a great play from Emerald Bulldog. Blocking himself in with the Treant, making sure that Burning couldn't get to him. It's the little plays, and this is classic Emerald Bulldog. This is why he plays almost Lone Druid and Nature's Prophet exclusively, is because he's always finding things to do with his Treants or with his Bear that nobody's quite expecting, or that just result in little outplays like that. Wasting some of Burning's time too. I mean, with those self stuns, diving the tower. Loda's got a little bit of an edge on Burning right now. 31-8 on him versus Burning's 24-9. That said, Burning has gone for 2 points in Grievel's Greed early. There's a smoke up here from DK. QQQ. If he gets the disruption off S4, he's going for it. Super's baiting him out. He pops the Firefly and he goes right. There's no boots on QQQ, and there are on S4, so he should be okay. Close call there for S4. Nice try to bait there by Super, but it just doesn't quite pay off. So the early smoke by DK supports does not result in the kill. So Burning does have 3 points in Grievel's Greed. He's going for the greediest build. Wants to be able to stand up to Loda's Anti-Mage as soon as possible, and it's unlikely that his team is going to need him too much in the first 10-15 minutes of this game. So in the end, that will likely pay off, especially since he's not in any danger. He doesn't have to fight. So he should be in a pretty decent situation here. Nice aggressive ward placed by some stacks going on to RTK, but there's the Ice Path, but does not land. Just barely out of the way. S4 will Firefly to safety. More wasted time from DK supports. They do get this ward up here. Will detect whenever Emerald Bulldog is in the lane. So they can detect whether or not they want to dive it. Now here's a decision I might be questioning from Burning. He's got a ring of health right now and looks to be headed towards his Battle Fury. Battle Fury is very strong on Alchemists, but given how much they're going to be relying on burning, I don't know. I think they need his. They really need the concoction stun if they want to be finding kills in this game. S4, he's a slippery one, as is Loda.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
That stun's gonna be really important. They're not gonna be able to always rely on the disruption Ice Path combo, and Shadowblade is very necessary for that.
Radiant's top tower
You
is under
really, I
attack.
mean, I don't know that you can do without Shadowblade on
Radiant
Alchemist
structures
in most
are
games.
fortified.
Because of how good it is for setting up your stun and how much just more dangerous it makes you. It gives you an escape mechanism. It gives you a lot more mobility, which Alchemist is so weak on.
Radiant's top tower.
The top tier 1 does go down to burning. He picks up the last hit on that, so towers are evened up. But I am concerned for this upcoming Battle Fury. He'll have it very quickly because he's maxing the Grieval's Greed. I suspect this could be a 12-minute Battle Fury. We'll see. And he doesn't quite rush it. He's got boots first. So it will be very fast, and it does increase his damage quite a lot. It's not a bad pickup. It's just I feel that they may need him a little more active earlier than that, especially with this Grieval's Greed focus build.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Plus, it's also just it's kind of a greedy build. It smacks of the 4 Protect 1 that DK has so often relied upon. But I think in this game, they're really going to need a lot more farm on their entire team. RTK, his walls are going to be very important in these fights. And with Jakiro on their team, I would really like to see a Blink Dagger on this Darkseer, but I don't think it's going to happen. It just doesn't seem to be... I mean, I don't know, it's R2K. Maybe he'll pull something out of the hat. Maybe he'll surprise me. All things are possible. But it does seem unlikely to me just because I haven't seen it on any of the Eastern teams. But his walls will be really important versus Loda. In the team fights, Darkseer is a very strong way of dealing with the anti-mage, especially since they've also got the illusions from disruption. Okay, he's getting his levels. He's level 5 at 9 minutes in. He's thinking about mid, but DK have grouped up around this, and it's going to be pretty hard to push against this trifecta. The Jakiro Shadow Demon is really a nice combo, and you've got to be confident going into it. A mechanism is probably a requirement for this to work out. Our Bulldog has gone Midas first. Completely skipped the boots. No need for that. S4, he's going to have about a 10-minute Blink Dagger, which is pretty good. Loda, he'll back out just before RTK teleports in. Loda is getting close to his Battle Fury. He's probably going to be about 2 to 3 minutes behind Burning's Battle Fury. And he's just about to finish it. This is going to be about an 11-minute Battle Fury by the time it arrives from the courier for Burning. So maybe a few more minutes on top of that. There's only the Claymore right now on the courier for Loda. Does have 600 gold. Super. Ooh, there's the blink. The first Blink Dagger usage of it by S4. He gets super. Can they chain stun him down? Yes, they can. The Centaur stun is enough to guarantee the extra damage. So super, he drops to the first appearance of the Blink Dagger from S4. Which, that's a great kill for Alliance to get. The more pressure they can put on earlier in this game, the more towers they can take before the Shadowblade gets online for Burning and he can actually get involved in these fights, the better. That'll create a lot more room for Loda. Now down at bottom, we've got MMY, QQQ, and RUTK. They're thinking about going onto Loda. He's got his tread, so he's a little bit tankier, and he's got his Ring of Health, so he has a little bit of sustain. But if they get the full combo off, I think it's quite possible that he could go down. Now there's only 1 point in Mana Break, so these illusions that will spawn off of Loda are not as deadly as they might otherwise be. And level 6 on EGM right now. I want to note that he's got 3 points in Power Shot and 1 in Shackle. He has opted not to spend 2 of his points. I don't know if they're unspent. Yeah, they're just unspent right now. Oh, there's the Disruption. Here's the Ice Path and the Wall. They want all of the illusions, and they're going to get all of them. The Hand of God will keep Loda up. The Dual Breath will not finish him off. So a nice, what looked to be a very nice gank. They dropped everything they needed to try and get that kill, but they just don't have the burst damage. Loda with his treads is just tanky enough. And they couldn't quite pull it off. The level 2 Ice Path is not a particularly long disable. If they were just in that for about half a second longer, then he would have gone down. Which that's really the only weakness of Ice Path as a CC. It's just not that long. I mean, this level is 1.4 seconds, which was just not quite enough. Perhaps could have waited on the delay just a little bit longer after the disruption. Maybe that was a difference maker.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
EGM's getting his farm up in the jungle right now, however. He's going to be 7 pretty soon, which 12 minutes in as a support windrunner is a pretty good situation for Alliance. There's a smoke up here by S4. He's hoping someone will show up mid, and on Ake as well. He's got his 3 creeps, and he's got 2 ideal creeps. However, there's a smoke here from DK. We've got burning down at bottom lane, and I think they want to bait Alliance into this, but Alliance is busy trying to find an opportunity mid. So there will be nothing available for them down bottom lane. They probably can just... Oh, EGM. EGM has to be careful. He will be okay. It's daytime now. Got the long range vision. So he will be okay.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It looks like Alliance are going to just give up the bottom tier 1. They are not interested in challenging right now. Perhaps because they're hoping that they can get to work on the mid tier 1. I don't think that they're going to be able to take it down in the amount of time that it will take DK to do this. So a bit of a dubious trade for Alliance.
Bottom tower is under attack.
They do force out the fortify.
Structures are fortified.
But perhaps they realize with the Blink Dagger on S4, he's got the lasso off cooldown right now. They can aggressively position themselves here.
Bottom tower
but no, they will back off just as DK teleports in. They do force a lot of teleports. The tower will not quite be denied. And is that... Nope. Still no Battle Fury for Loda. So rotation top from Alliance. They, after forcing out all those TPs mid, DK will have to rotate once more up to top. Oh, S4 can't get caught out here. He gets the disruption. There's the Soul Catcher, the Ice Path, the Dual Breath. There's no way out of this for S4, and he will go down. DK waiting right on the hill. EGM walks out. Oh, the Ice Path lands. Super manages to finish him off. But up the top, Burning does go down. And even though it's a 2-for-1, I think this trade favors Alliance right now. Taking down Burning, and they're going to get the top tier 1. They may lose their mid tier 1, so the tower trade is not favorable. But they do take down Burning, which is an important kill for Alliance. And Loda has no deaths to his name. So in terms of the hero kills, it's pretty even. The tower trade favors DK. Overall, it's a pretty back and forth engagement. We're 14 minutes into this game. It's 2-4. Alliance, they're behind by about 1,000 gold, ahead by about 2,000 experience. It's a pretty close game right now. And it's going to be really hard for them to really ever catch up in gold, because this is a max Greevil's Greed Battle Fury Alchemist. The only way he could be farming faster is if he had a Midas. Even that would be probably overkill. Probably. So catching up in gold is always going to be a challenge for Alliance, especially until Loda picks up his Battle Fury, which he does have now, 15 minutes in. Pretty decent timing since he hasn't rushed it. Went for the treads first. And there's no way that he can get a Battle Fury faster than an Alchemist. There's a smoke here by Alliance, but also by DK. Who will find who first? That is the question. It's all going to depend on the lasso. Oh, Aki hasn't been revealed. He drops the ward down, but they see these creeps, and DK will just walk right past. Amber Bulldog's on the other side here. This is a bit of an awkward engagement. Ooh, DK, they're gonna steal this triple ancient stack. That's all gonna go towards burning. And oh, but there's a lasso into burning. He gets pulled in. He's taking a lot of damage because he's fighting these ancients. Can they finish him off? Emerald Bulldog just barely gets the sprout onto burning. There's a defensive disruption to keep him alive for the time being, but there's a nice mana void onto RTK, so he's taken out of the fight. It's 1 for 3 right now in favor of Alliance. It's a 4 for 1, in fact. Great play by S4. What looked to be a beastly ancient steal from DK. Burning ends up tanking a lot of that damage. Creates a big opportunity for S4. Ooh, there's a shackle onto Super. Does he have a time lapse? Yes, he does. He's able to time lapse, but he's netted up immediately afterwards. He's got to escape from the grasp of S4. He's got plenty of mana, so he'll probably be okay here. But the mid-tier 1 will drop. Oh, there's a TP in from RTK. He puts a surge onto Weaver. Perhaps a bit overkill, but he's got the Ion Shell on him right now. Trying to chase down Aki. One more auto attack? No, the Ion Shell is all that it takes. And they can go into EGM right now. He's only got 280 HP left. This is a bit of a rude pause. I don't know what the rationale is, but EGM may go down here. There's not a lot of support from his team right now. The Hand of God, I do not believe. Yeah, Ake is dead, so that's the other part of that problem. Besides being on cooldown, Hand of God, not in any way available. EGM, he's already popped the Wind Run. Maybe if he lands a big shackle, he's got about 3 seconds before he dies to this Ion Shell. Maybe 4. No, probably 3 because there's going to be the auto attack from Weaver. He's already used the Geminate attack. I don't know if it's impacted yet. EGM's going to go down. Nonetheless, a great fight for Alliance. It is very fortunate for DK that they find some return kills, but it is just the supports going down. It's a Chen and a Windrunner. Not the biggest deal for DK. And Loda, he'll be able to continue, or to get his farm going now. He's got that Battle Fury. Anything on the career? He's already picked up a Yasha. That fight was really lucrative for Loda. And I have to mention that Vanna Void on RTK was really quite big. Hammer Bulldog is going to be going for the Shadow Blade. His farm is starting to kick in. And he should have plenty of time to farm that up before the next fight. He's at 700 gold right now and just used his Midas. Shouldn't be long before he's acquired that. RTK, he's got a mechanism. Along with those arcanes, his farm is pretty decent this game. Switch it over to net worth. Actually, it could be a little bit better for a jungling Darkseer. I think he could have more net worth than he does, but he's also spent a lot of time grouped up with his team. Arcane's up on MMY, and QQQ has picked up an Urn. Pretty good situation for the supports on DK. Ake's a little ways away from his mechanism. Needs about 800 more gold before that. Once Alliance has that, I think they're going to be in a really good situation. It's going to be hard for DK to find kills. S4 has finished his Force Staff as a result of that last fight. I think that's probably the biggest factor of that last fight for Alliance, is that it's just getting them so many of the items they need. An early Yasha on Anti-Mage, I mean early, kind of, he has a Battle Fury, so everything that comes after a Battle Fury in Anti-Mage is quote-unquote early. But getting it really fast, that move speed really helps him out, and the attack speed. It amps up his farming speed quite nicely, since the one thing that Anti-Mage still needs after he gets his Battle Fury is more attack speed, more mana breaks. Long pause. Good wards up here by DK. They realize that there's a Battle Fury Anti-Mage on the enemy team, and they need to ward up this ancient camp. So there will be no more ancient stacks for Alliance. think Alliance should probably do the same versus DK, given that they're up against a Battle Fury Alchemist. Probably the scariest kind of Alchemist there is when it comes to farming. Well, I've analyzed this about as much as I can during a pause. Good wards here by Alliance. They'll detect smoke ganks. In terms of the start of this game, I mean, it's pretty close. The experience, especially after that last fight, does favor Alliance quite a bit. It will help once they take down EGM. But I think this is, I mean, overall, it's a decent start for both teams. I do worry as this goes forward for DK, however. Anti-Mage does not have much trouble dealing with Alchemists. As an illusion hero, I mean, it's kind of like Phantom Lancer. Yes, with his Battle Fury, he'll be able to deal with the illusions a little bit better, but Anti-Mage hits almost as fast as, you know, almost as fast, but he hits pretty fast. Basher is going to be very effective on him, and it's much easier for Anti-Mage to pick off all of these supports on DK, especially he's probably going to need to go for a BKB this game. That's really the only downside of Anti-Mage in this particular game. It's just that to deal with Disruption, Ice Path, Wall, the only way that he can actually deal the damage he needs to do is to get a BKB. But once he has that, these supports are all fodder. I mean, you have 3 intelligence supports, big mana voids available, especially with a Darkseer. I think there's going to be a lot of food for the Anti-Mage versus, I mean, you compare that to Alchemist, and he's going to have trouble staying on top of Batrider. He's going to have trouble staying on top of Windrunner, who comes equipped with Evasion. I can get an MKB, but that's yet another item that I don't think is really fantastic for what makes Alchemist so great. Like, Battle Fury late game for Alchemist, you're going to want to sell it. You don't need to cleave anymore unless you're really that concerned about anti-mage illusions, which you shouldn't be. You need things like a basher. Need the BKB. There we go. They're ready. They're ready to start this up again. EGM, he throws the shackle out. Are they? Oh, the net from Ake. Super. He gets surged again. He's on top of EGM. This should be another kill. There he goes. Super has to dive for it a little bit, but he finds the kill nonetheless. So two return kills for DK as revenge for
middle tower is under attack.
That tower. Loader needs to be careful at that bottom lane. There's a surge on QQQ right now, so he can keep up with Super. Loader's just going to keep going forward. Can they get in on him on time? It's going to be a TP in from good blink into the trees here from Loda. He may be dodging a gank. And he's just going to TP out. So he will avoid this potential gank from DK, which is a more wasted time from the supports on DK. Now, these supports, they really need no farm. Shadow Demon, it's convenient. Same thing for Jakiro. But their utility does not change too much based on the items they get, particularly in this game. So wasting time for them is not a huge cost, and if it slows down Loda at all, that's not too bad. And actually, this ward does not stop this ancient stack, so a little bit of small mistake there from DK is going to cost them every minute. That's another ancient stack going towards Loda. Because at this point, he can farm them no problem. Now, there's a disruption onto S4. He gets hit with the Ice Path. Shackle flies out, but does not launch. Aki, he's got the send back, and he's going to save S4. Aki saves his teammate. God, the best Chem players are constantly making use of the Test of Faith. And great example right there. No question that S4 was going to go down there, but no hesitation from Ake putting that on his teammate and saving him, wasting more of DK's time.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Smoke up here by Alliance. Up into the jungle. They've got Loda waiting in the trees. High up. QQQ, he could be getting caught here. The Firefly gets popped from S4. This is going to be a dead Shadow Demon. He's trying not to waste the Firefly on just the support, or the lasso, and he won't. It will be an easy kill for Alliance, and they can probably group up onto this top lane if they want. Oh, there's a considered teleport from Admiral Bulldog. You could see he saw the courier when it was in the jungle, and he wanted to finish it off, but doesn't go for the super risky play. Does have a TP, but diving the base like that, especially when he knows that DK are on the back foot right now, would be a little bit too risky. The mechanism is up for Ake now.
Dire's top tower is
Help
under
Alliance's
attack.
ability to group up, and they've got Arcanes on EGM. He's going for that full support route. They don't need his DPS in this game. They just want the shackles. We haven't seen any shackles yet, really. Oh, Firefly pop by S4. Is he going to catch QQQ? He force staffs away from the ice path. Forces a TP from burning. Unstable Cockroach charging up. He's got this Shadow Blade now. There's a send back on EGM. They're baiting him onto EGM. Oh, and S4 will go down. Wow. I can't believe Super actually managed to do that. Oh, he's got a DD. That's why. Jesus, this is the second DD for Super that has netted him a kill on S4. And it's going to net him all the kills on Ake's creeps. So very fortunate for DK there. Honestly, a bit of rune luck has fetched some 2 kills this game. Killing S4, I mean, he's already got his Force Staff and his Blink Dagger, so taking him out is, ooh, Ancient Stack. Getting stolen by Loda. Will there be any response from DK? It appears not. So Loda gets revenge for that previous Ancient Stack steal. Admiral Bulldog, he's building an Oblivion Staff, so he's got an Orchid on the way. I think Silence is a pretty strong build this game. Ooh, blink in. Inside the trees. No shackle necessary. The Mana Void to finish him off. No trouble to make that happen. QQ just a little bit too late to save his teammate. Perhaps if he'd gotten there sooner. But the Mana Void, regardless, would have boned RR2K. No problem. Manta Style now finished on Loda. 21 minutes in, he's got his Battle Fury Manta. It's a pretty good situation for him. Topping out the gold per minute right now over a Battle Fury Max Greevil's Greed Alchemist. Holy crap. I guess that's 2 deaths on burning for you. 3 killed. I mean, Loda's 303 right now versus 02 on burning. He's had no assists, no success in the time he's spent ganking. And Loda has been pretty efficient in the positioning on his farming. He's still behind in net worth. Oh, wait, what the... Did I misread that? I don't know. Maybe I'm going crazy there. Nevertheless. Wow. DK will start to work on this Roche. They've got some minus armor for it. Burning hits like a truck right now. Disruption onto S4 will push him out just a little bit longer, and I don't think that Alliance are going to be able to take this. So they will look for a trade.
Roshan, Dire's top tower has fallen.
And they will get the Roche, which is pretty good news for DK, but I don't know how much they're really actually going to be able to use this Aegis. If they get too aggressive, Alliance will punish them pretty hard, and I mean they're the ones with the Bat Rider. They're the ones with the great mobility of Anti-Mage and the global presence of Nature's Prophet. I think Alliance are pretty comfortable just split pushing this for a long time. However, ooh, Emerald Bulldog, he just used his Shadow Blade to farm. He's gonna have a little trouble getting away from this. He gets vacuumed back in, and he will go down. A bit of a misplay there from Admiral Bulldog, using his Shadow Blade to farm when he's in the enemy jungle. Too much ego. Too much ego. So yes, I was completely misreading that, by the way, when I said Loda was topping out the Alchemist. No, Burning is sitting at 735 gold per minute right now, which is likely to continue if it weren't for Loda and his pesky ancient steals. This is one of the strengths of Anti-Mage, is that he can farm anywhere, and you can't really stop him because, I mean, just he can go into the back there. And his animations, I mean, you might ask, like, why can't a Faceless Void do this? Ooh, S4, he's gonna go on to Super, but he pops the Lincoln Sphere with the... Oh, can they take down Super? The Shackle from EGM is enough to finish him off. However, the Concoction comes in onto S4, Burning. He's completely out of mana from Loda's Manta-style illusions. Cannot do anything more. He gets netted up. Loda, he still has a... Oh, that Mana Void onto 3. The Aegis is used up. Macropyre gets dropped, but it's only hitting Aki right now. Admiral Bulldog, he Shadow Blades away. Is there any vision of this right now from DK? And yes, they've got a gem on RTK, so Admiral Bulldog will drop once more. However, S4, he's back into the fight. EGM, he walks into the Ice Path, but DK, they're on the run. Loda, he can go toe-to-toe with Burning right now. He gets netted up again. Self-destruction from QQQ. The Manta Style gets popped once more from Loda, and that's another kill for him. Burning is on the run. It's a great fight for Alliance. A 1 for 3, and they take the Aegis off of Burning. Alliance looking really good here in game 1, and just outplaying DK. I am frankly surprised that Super still went down. I mean, it's kind of a freebie that you still get with the Lincoln Sphere. Is it? Ooh, Burning. He Shadow Blades up. He doesn't have a Concoction charging right now, however, so there will be no auto attack damage from that. And S4, he's got a lasso again. Will not be able to save his teammate. So Alliance, they'll try to disengage here. Super will try to chase down Ake. I think this is a dubious chase. He gets netted up. If he keeps chasing, I guess it is possible for him to do this. Concoction charging up from Burning. Can he get in range in time? The mechanism is still available for Ake. Can he toss it? No, he's just going to have self-stunning here. Ake has successfully baited him. He's still got the mechanism. Loda forces Super to time-lapse out, wasting a lot of time for DK. This is all time that Alliance, they would have been backing off anyways, and this whole time, Admiral Bulldog, he's been able to he didn't have to buy back in that fight. He could just respawn. And now he's up at top lane, getting some farm off on his own, and he finishes his Orchid. So more wasted time from DK, going for a greedy chase there onto a support Chen. Like that's not an anti-mage you're chasing down.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And all DK gets for it, they do get EGM, and they do take Admiral Bulldog down in that engagement. So there are a couple trades, but nothing good. Nothing really valuable. They still haven't taken down Loda, who is out 6-0-3. Burning picks up 2 kills in that fight, so he's now even on his KDA, but that's not really where you want an Alchemist to be. And this is pretty much the time for Alchemist to shine. It's 27 minutes in. He's got his Shadow Blade up. He's just finished his AC. He can finish his BKB now if he wants. You're not going to get much more effectiveness out of an Alchemist than what you've got right now. And if DK can't make this work, then I think they're in a whole heap of trouble. Super, he's been doing a pretty good job. Super's 5-2-3 right now. Has managed to find some kills, particularly with those DD runes onto S4. Poor S4. He's got his Lincoln Sphere, and with a Mithril Hammer, it could be a BKB. He kind of requires the BKB if he intends to fight against Loda, but if he wants to increase his DPS and help take down these utilities and supports on Alliance, then he'll go for a Desolator, which will also help out with the pushing, combines well with the AC. In fact, the total minus armor of AC plus Desolator is enough to pretty significantly increase your damage against an anti-mage. I mean, Loda's only got 13 armor right now. That will change with his next item pickup, I imagine. Ooh, smoke up here by DK. But no, Loda. It's daytime right now. That's another factor here. I mean, even if they get in range. Oh, the Surge is popped onto QQQ. He gets the disruption off. EGM's here. He's gonna try and get the Shackle, but the BKB is popped by Loda. He gets his Mana Style illusions out. They're trying to chase him down, but the BKB is going to save Loda. The Concoction flies out into Ake. But they even get a courier kill. Admiral Bulldog with the big plays from behind picks off the courier from from the Dire side. And was there anything on that courier? That's what I want to know. No, there was not. So yet another engagement from DK turns into absolute thin air. There's just no progression here from them, and Alliance is not getting further ahead. But as mentioned, I think this is DK's time to shine. They need to be forcing fights, and they can't be chasing down Loda. It's not like they need to bring Loda to them. They can't try to gank him at this point. He's got a BKB, a Manta style, plus he's anti-mage. It's not gonna happen. Oh, leash onto RTK. He gets pulled down into the Roche pit. There's a nice shackle from EGM, making sure that he's going nowhere. RTK taken out of the fights thanks to a nice pick-off from S4. And was there even vision? I think it was just the flying vision that helped him spot that out. So as farmed as Burning is, I mean, he's at 20,000 net worth right now. 784 gold per minute. This is about as farmed as you're ever going to see an Alchemist in any professional game. I don't know that it matters. DK, their interviews, they talk so often about how they need to get out of the 4 Protect 1. They need to diversify their style, and we're just not seeing it. We're seeing DK do what they did yesterday against IG in their 98-minute game, which they still lost with 60,000 net worth on Burning. How do you even do that? And it's just because you can't rely entirely on one hero. It just is not going to work. And that's all of DK's damage right now. Super, he does some, but versus an anti-mage, versus the large amount of stuns that Alliance has to deal with him, he's just not that effective. DK have to fight as a team. They have to get the big vacuums, the macro pyres. They need to make everything work for them if they want to win these fights, because they just don't have enough individual DPS from anyone but Burning. He's at 3,900 gold after finishing his BKB just about 3 minutes ago. I imagine a Basher will be coming up next for him since he's got that AC already. It's one of the only ways they can lock Loda down since he's got that BKB.
Warriors of the wood.
Amber Bulldog, he's well on his way towards a sheepstick at this point. Amber Bulldog is in the 3rd position right now for net worth. Doing a pretty good job. Actually, oh, that was XP per minute. Ah, haha. So I wasn't actually misreading the numbers. I just clicked on the wrong button. Wow, XP per minute. Loda's really leading the way. Do I have levels? Yes, I even have levels on here. Look at the under-leveled supports here for DK. I'm learning to make use of these graphs. This makes it much more fun. I have more buttons to press. Makes it more like playing the game. Under-leveled supports for DK, and that's, I think, a problem. Particularly, Soul Catcher is a powerful tool. That scales wonderfully into the late game. And same thing for Jakiro. Everything he has, the liquid fire, that's great versus what Alliance is trying to do, versus the creeps, versus Loda, slows down attack speed. It's very, very efficient. So having low levels on them is really costly. And level 2 on Ake, that means they got the level 2 Hand of God. It's about all they can ever ask for. Loda has now gone for a Basher. I was expecting him to go for a Heart, but I think the Basher makes sense in this context, particularly versus a Weaver. I don't think he's actually afraid of Burning. Basher certainly helps in his ability to deal with him. However, if he can kill everyone else on DK, then it doesn't matter. Then Burning just is not relevant. Burning has picked up his own Basher, and they're going to start to work on Roche, but this time Alliance is aware. This time, they're ready to fight this. Loda sends his illusions in. They've got vision of this, and DK will be forced to back off. Oh, but Burning, he gets netted up. There's the leash from S4 onto Burning, a big vacuum and blink from ROTK. Macropyre gets dropped down onto absolutely nothing, but Super is immediately taken out of the fight. Loda, he gets stunned up, however, pops the Manta style. Can he blink away? No, the Ice Path will lock him down for the time being, but there's immediate buyback from Loda. Wants to get back in this fight as soon as possible. Ghost Scepter popped by Ake, running away from Super. All of Ake's creeps will get finished off. Was that a buyback from Burning? It was not. Burning actually did not go down in that fight. I don't know how, because it looked like he was dropping so low from that leash from S4. But the Blink Dagger on ROTK, I am so pleased with him right now that he has picked up this Blink, because that was a game changer in that fight. He got a 4-man vacuum into the wall, creating havoc for Alliance. ROTK, he is the player on DK. I dare say. Burning gets all the attention, but I think it's ROTK that really turned that fight in DK's favor. Now, Alliance, they can fight this again. They have used their buybacks, however. Oh, the BKB. It's up on S4. He pulls Burning out. Big vacuum into Ice Path from RTK. Pulls Loda in. What is going on here? Roshan has already fallen to DK. One hero taken out. QQQ has fallen to Loda. BKB popped by Loda. He's trying to go on MMY, but he's got a Ghost Scepter. BKB popped by Burning. Concoction flies out to S4, but he force stabs himself over the cliff. Super thinks about continuing the chase, and they will back off. Admiral Bulldog was looking for a pick off in the back lines and will find no such thing. DK, pretty good fight for them. They managed to take down the Roche. They have a good split. There was another good vacuum from ROTK, catching Loda inside the Ice Path, forcing him to blink out, not dealing the damage that he really wants to. And Burning stays alive throughout the fight, so that was a pretty good fight for DK. It's going to keep them in this game a little bit longer. Alliance still maintain map control. So I don't know what DK will be able to do with this Aegis, especially since it's not on Burning. I believe it's on Super. And Super does not actually hit very hard right now. He's got nothing but that Lincoln Sphere and one Mithril Hammer. 2100 gold saved up. So he could pick up that BKB relatively soon. Or he could go for the Desolator. I think he's going to have to go for the BKB if he wants to live through these fights. It's 15 to 12 at 36 minutes in. 4,000 gold, about 10,000 experience. So overall, DK not extending or lessening their lead in these fights. But they are keeping themselves in this game. I really believe it's going to come down to the walls from RTK and Super getting another item. The BKB Lincoln Sphere, it means he doesn't die, but he's not dealing damage. And the later that goes on, it's going to become more and more of a problem for him in this game. Particularly Loda, he's got a quarterstaff in his inventory. He's looking toward that butterfly, and once he has that, I think he's going to be a pain in the ass for Burning and Super to try and auto attack down. Also really helps versus the illusions that get produced of him from the wall. And smoke up here by DK. They're looking for somebody in the jungle. They could quite possibly catch Ake. Ake's gonna nearly pops their smoke, plops a ward down. And DK are not gonna find anybody. They do take the time to plant a ward down on this hill, giving themselves a nice bit of vision. And DK will try to make a tower come out of this Roche kill. They've still got the Aegis. Alliance, they could try to take the fight, but after how those Roche fights went, I think they kind of feel that, you know, maybe they need more farm. Maybe it's safer to split push, and that is what Admiral Bulldog is doing. Gets the bottom lane pushed in, forces DK to back off, and there will be no tier 3s or even tier 3 damage for DK. The best that they can really hope for this Aegis is to take another tier 2. So I have to wonder about S4. Lassoing Burning seems like a great idea, but he's had his Chemical Rage popped before each of the lassos, and I don't know that that's really that they can burst him down quickly enough, because there's a number of ways that DK can save. You can't kill him in the time of that lasso, which means that he's just going to walk out, and then you've created an easy initiation or counter initiation from DK. You group up around Burning, and suddenly you've set yourself up for a big wall from ROTK. So I think S4 needs to look for other lasso targets. I think ROTK is really the ideal, but either of the supports on DK are also viable targets because the ice paths and disruptions are a major problem for Alliance in these team fights. Super, you could go for him, but with the Lincoln Sphere, you have to spend both the Force Staff and the Blink Dagger to take him down, and I just don't know that S4 can really afford to have that kind of initiation. Is there a Helmet Dominator here? Or okay, I see what's going on. I wasn't sure what Ake was doing with these creeps here. In any case, Aegis will get reclaimed in about 1 minute here, so DK will not put it to use. Which I think is a strong reflection of the lineup they have. Like, they can't go force a fight. They're being out-split pushed. They're forced onto their own side of the map, and they can't find ganks. They don't have any form of long-range initiation outside of the Blink Dagger from ROTK, and that's really follow-up. That's team fight initiation, not being able to find ganks, not being able to find any pickoffs in this game. 4,000 gold on Loda. He could pick up his butterfly. No, not quite. It's getting close.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
DK will start to work on the bottom tier 2. There's no fortify available, and Burning is going to chop straight through that.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Burning is just about 6 slotted at this point. He can get rid of the Shadow Blade, and that's about it. However, I mean, look at this. The constant split push from Alliance. DK take a tier 2, and they take damage on their tier 3s. Like, that's how Alliance is playing this game. They have so much ability to split push. And it's only going to get worse. Just feels like every stage of this game, DK has not been able to handle Alliance's draft. The one fortunate thing for them is that we're now, what, 41 minutes in, and Ake, he's going to get more useless. It's the only way to put it. He's still level 11. He hasn't gained experience in nearly 10 minutes. He doesn't have the 3 centaurs, but these are super easy for Burning to chop through. Not any major impediment. If he gets lucky and those manage to stay alive, that is a lot of stuns, but we can assume that's probably not going to happen. Ake is basically a walking mechanism in Hand of God, with the occasional test of faith thrown in. Oh, and he wards. So he's an extra 75 gold per minute by beating the game. The top tier 2 gets taken out by DK, but once more, Alliance, they're right up on the tier 3, forcing DK to back off. So no momentum they can gain. That said, DK have completely evened it up in terms of towers. The gold lead should be basically down to 0 as a result. However, Alliance, they continue to get more out of the map. They're a 14,000 experience lead right now, which really shows you the strength of the split push lineup. And Loda is about to hit level 25. He's not far off. Anti-Mage does not get scarier, any scarier than when he hits 25. He benefits so strongly from the extra stats with each level. His Manta-style illusions become absolute terrors. I mean, he almost doesn't... This is part of why he's been able to skip a heart in this game, is because his XP per minute is so high. Even if he's a full 200 gold per minute behind what Burning is setting up right now. But it doesn't matter. I mean, he's going to be 6 slotted at nearly the same time as Burning, but he's going to be level 25. Realistically, Burning will be 25 before he faces off for Loda, so that's not actually that big of a comparison to make there. Nice D-ward there by Alliance. They detect the Observer from DK, and they make sure that their Ancient Stack is available for Loda, because he is super hungry. Just wants more and more creeps. Butterfly finished on Loda, so will be very helpful for him. It does make his illusions intensely scary for the rest of his team. A big wall by RTK. could be disastrous for Alliance, and that's one problem, picking Anti-Mage into a Darkseer. There's an MKB picked up on Burning. He swaps out his Shadowblade for that. So Burning hits pretty hard right now, and he's got the dual bash, if you will. Oh my god, like 2 shots these Centaurs. I think it's possible for him to make his build a little more efficient if he gets rid of the Battle Fury, but he may opt just to keep that for the sake of split push. And also there's an MKB up on Super now. So Super gets his first significant DPS item. But look at the tier 3. Is Alliance going to do this again? Are they going to continue to siege the base like they did in that 70-minute game versus Alliance? Or versus LGD? Was it LGD? Yes, it was LGD. Okay. Get it all confused. Oh. Roche, though. S4, he was looking for the lasso on Super, but he gets purged up. He pops his BKB, so the Ice Path means nothing, but Burning is on top of him right now. He gets the bash. S4 drops immediately. The lasso, way too greedy from Alliance. S4 was looking for the opportunity. He needed to back off as soon as he realized that that lasso just wasn't going to work out. And not to mention, he used his Force Staff to break the Lincoln Sphere on... Oh my god. Look at this base. DK cannot take Roche because of Alliance. They take the bottom tier 3. Great play from Alliance. They're going to force DK to back off. And look, they almost take the racks with these illusions. Oh my god. Will they do it? Oh, so close. In fact, Loda finds a solo kill onto ROTK. You could hear the Mana Void ripping him to shreds. Great play from Alliance. They may be able to challenge this Roche yet. And Admiral Bulldog is up at top. Does Loda have Boots of Travel yet? If he does, that really makes things scary for DK. Now, they can do this Roche really fast. Probably before Alliance can get in there. And that is Roche and Cheese. In fact, the Cheese gets left on the ground, however. Burning pops his BKB. He's charging up Concoction. Lasso onto Burning, however. Where is Loda? That's the question for me right now. He gets into the fight. He pops his BKB. There's no RTK in this fight. Burning, he's eating the bashes. He's trying to go on Loda, but he will go down. Super, he's got this Aegis still. There's a sheep onto QQQ. Admiral Bulldog. Actually, Loda picks up the last hit there. It's looking real bad for DK here. The Aegis gets used by Super. What can he do? Oh, nope. The bashes. The bashes. It's a near team wipe for DK. They lose almost everyone, and they're going to lose their bottom racks. I don't know that there's anything they can do about this. However, ooh, ROTK with a big wall shows up. That's going to help eliminate Loda. Those illusions are dangerous as all hell. Immediate buyback by Loda. He wants to get back in this fight as soon as possible. He buys his Boots of Travel. He does not want to let off the pedal right now because he knows that Super is out for another 50 seconds. Burning has already used his buyback and sitting on 6,000 gold, but it's meaningless for him. Loda sends his illusions in. He's playing like it's still LGD versus Alliance, as though he's got a Phantom Lancer. He jumps right into RTK. Holy god! That Mana Void onto RTK nearly takes out MMY on its own. Lasso onto Burning. He's trying to escape. This could be it for DK here in game 1. Burning on the run. He's actually going to take out Admiral Bulldog on his way, but Loda will finish him off. It's a complete team wipe for DK, and things are looking really good here for Alliance. The Fortify gets popped, but it's not going to matter. Alliance with the constant split push. What a pain in the ass to play against. But they do it perfectly, and they definitely, it's more exciting than watching the siege of Phantom Lancer. Must say, and this could be mid-racks going down, and in fact it should be. Loda will escape unscathed. No return kills here for DK, and they have lost 2 lanes of racks. They cannot be feeling good about their situation right now. Are Alliance going to go straight back in? They know that there's no Burning for 50 seconds, and that's most of their DPS. Also, I like the send back. With the travels off cooldown for Loda, he can just immediately get back in the fight, and they can push in all of these lanes. It's going to make it impossible for DK to keep these lanes pushed out. They don't have particularly great anti-push, especially without burning. That Battle Fury is as good as it gets. Shackle flies out into Super, but only pops the Lincoln Sphere. It's going to be the last Ra for DK, and I really don't know. Oh, there's a lasso onto MMY. A solid target, but S4 gets vacuumed back in. Pops the BKB a little bit late, but Loda, he jumps into things. They do get the kill onto MMY. No Jakiro for this fight. A major source of CC. Immediately removed. Alliance can finish this out however they want. They can be patient. But I don't think they need to be. I mean, they are 49 minutes in the game, and as a result of those last few fights, they're going to be carrying a pretty big lead here. Ooh, double damage for Loda. That's a scary prospect.
Double down on sorcery.
Too much reliance on burning. I don't like the build of burning in this game either. I mean, it got him all sorts of farmed, but they needed him minutes sooner in this game. And that definitely delayed his Shadow Blade by quite a bit, which was necessary for his early game impact. He rebuys his BKB, but that's not going to make the difference here, I'm quite certain. Will help. But there's plenty of physical damage from Loda. And he's going to have his last slot filled in not too long from now. EGM finishes his own sheepstick as a result of that fight. He also puts the travel up on S4. It's another thing about Alliance's game here. With all these boots of travel up, DK's never going to be able to push outside of their own base. They have to win 2 full team fights because they're up against a full set of buybacks with boots of travel. At least no, there's 2 buybacks cooling down at the moment on Alliance, but only a minute more for those. So once those are back online, almost everybody on Alliance will be able to buy back and boots of travel back into a fight. Especially if there's any treants available from Admiral Bulldog. Manta Style picked up by Admiral Bulldog. Wants the extra pushing power. He's almost 6-slotted too. Basically everyone on Alliance, all the cores have got the farm they need, and even EGM has got his sheepstick. I have to question the choice here by RTK to go for an ultimate orb. I really feel like an Ag Scepter is their only way to win this game. They have to turn the illusions of Loda against Alliance. And Sheepstick is not going to be what makes that happen. It is a great item, certainly a necessary one. The other alternative being a Refresher Orb. Though that does make him a very immediate and obvious target for Mana Voids. I had to search for the spell name. My brain. Well, we're 52 minutes in. Alliance are being fairly patient with it here. I think they know that they're not losing out on anything right now by farming up their buybacks. They want to secure this win just so. And there's a Vlad's pickup on Ake, so that's pretty handy for Loda's sake. There's the Abyssal Blade finished on Loda. I think that's really what they're waiting for. Get his last item slot filled up. And make sure he has buyback. Just so they make sure that they can take down Burning, which I think it's the right call. One of the things about Anti-Mage I think makes him a strong carry is that Ghost Scepters are not particularly useful against him. I mean, they help. They can delay your demise. However, if he's already hit you a couple times, if you're already out of mana, then you're setting yourself up for getting dunked. Jammed, slammed. However you please, you're going to eat a massive mana void. Particularly as an intelligence support. It's one thing if you're something like Bench the Spirit. Or a Clockwork. Like this choice here by QQQ to make illusions of Loda's illusions. Helps to slow down the push. Ooh, a shackle onto Burning. Will Alliance take this opportunity? Yes, they will. There's the lasso. They pull Burning out. He's got his buyback, so you'll be forced to immediately use it. However, this is going to be a good start to this fight for Alliance. They force out the buyback from Burning. They don't want to give up any free kills, but look at these illusions from Loda. They're doing so much work. The concoction flies out onto Emerald Bulldog, but he pops the BKB. There's a nice shackle onto QQQ. QQQ will get taken out on the back lines. Super will try to go onto EGM. Oh, the teleport in for Emerald Bulldog. He silences up MMY. Traps Burning inside the trees. He's popped this BKB and he's got nothing to do with it. Oh, but a huge vacuum from RTK. Everybody splits apart, however. Mana Void from Loda. He jumps into the middle of things. Has not yet walked through this wall. It's gonna be game. Alliance is gonna do it. They take down Burning twice. DK calls a GG. 31-16. 55 minutes in. They do a fantastic job. They play it just right. They don't give DK any room to come back in this game. And I would say this is a case of a big case of outdrafting. I think Alliance's draft is overall much stronger, especially the way they played it. I mean, they never gave DK anything for free. There's no tower that DK took that Alliance wasn't immediately split pushing, forcing them to back off. Every time they took Roche, they were finding trades. And Alliance, I think they knew that Burning just wasn't going to be that big of a problem. They have the lasso, they're going to have the bashes from Loda, they have lots of different kinds of stuns, and Emerald Bulldog, combined with Loda, the supports on DK just don't have a chance. I think DK, I mean, the biggest thing keeping him in that game was ROTK. Him getting his Blink Dagger, providing a little bit of surprise factor for Alliance. I don't think they were expecting that during that Roche fight, where there were some buybacks from Loda, where he had to jump back into the fight and got there too late, ended up giving DK the Aegis. But I mean, you'll note none of the Aegises, I don't think any of the towers on Alliance's side, the tier 3s, took any damage, despite DK taking 3 Aegises. And in fact, I think there was I lost track of the cheese. There was a cheese left in there. I don't know what happened to it. Nonetheless, it's a classic Alliance game. They got the draft they wanted. DK can't be feeling too good right now because they got all the farm they could possibly want on Burning. They need for something more mobile, for something that can gank, that can deal with split push. Alchemist cannot deal with that. Shadowblade is not enough. We'll see if they learn in game 2.